Remember way back during the 90s when I was looking for late night supper, there was a restaurant called Sakura, known for its nasi lemak. Now, the outlet was started by Madam Kwan Swee Lian, and that has since morphed into what we now know as Madam Kwan's and is headed by her daughter-in-law, Datin Maureen. Expanding the brand, right? At Madam Kwan's, you've got 18 outlets right now, right? What's your strategy to grow the legacy without losing its heritage or quality?
I often tell myself, don't get caught. Let the food speak for itself. Look for meaningful expansion. I'm not a sprinter, I'm a long distance runner.
You're watching Live Confessions Season 3. I'm Frida Liu. I remember way back during the 90s when I was looking for late night supper, there was a restaurant called Sakura, known for its nasi lemak. Now, the outlet was started by Madam Kwan Swee Lian, and that has since morphed into what we now know as Madam Kwan's and is headed by her daughter-in-law, Datin Maureen. Nice to finally meet you, Datin Maureen.
Hi, Frida. Yeah.
And of course, Madam Kwan is a household name here in Malaysia, right? But not everyone knows the story behind it. So we're going to get you to take us way back when, and I guess what made her the legend that she is today.
The story is very interesting. So she's at the moment 91 years old, just for,
Wow.
just for the information. So from 1957 to August 1957, she started Sakura Salon.
Okay.
Yeah, she was then the sole distributor for Lancome in Malaysia. So she did that for about 20 years. In 77, she turned it into a restaurant. That itself there's a story behind that. And then in the 90s, there was a unfortunate event that happened in our family on the 11th of December, 1993. When Highland Tower collapsed, she lost a son, a daughter-in-law, and 2 grandsons. So that led to a bit of a depression. And then she lost the business to a land scam somewhere around 95. Somewhere around that time, she actually decided to run a little store in One Utama. That time, I think...
90s. Yeah.
As sure as so she cooked, she cashier, she waitress and everything, and it was very hard. And then fast forward to 1999, August as well, we opened up the first Madam Kwan on 65 Jalan Telawi.
Right. Okay. So this is there's so much that has happened in her life and how she's still going strong despite all the odds, right? But I want to know that part where from hairdresser to starting a restaurant, what made her decide to do make the switch?
In my early days of running this business, there were press that come around and I hear the story. So I'm just going to repeat the story. So the story is that she said she was getting a bit older. And in the 70s, she said that she was getting a bit older and beauty business requires you to be, young and pretty, and she was getting a bit older. And she also said that she went to PJ. A friend of hers had a coffee shop, and she went there and it was quite busy. She came home. She realized that she said this: if you are a beautician, only the women, like the wife in the family, will be your customer. But if you have a restaurant, everyone else can be your customer. That's what she said. And it was not much planning. There was no strategy required, no need to calculate the risk. And she just overnight turned it into a restaurant.
Right.
That is a true story.
Okay, so all started in August 1957, which is something we can all remember, the Merdeka month as well, right?
Yeah.
And then then she started the restaurant, as you say, in 1999. That was the start of Madam Kwan, right?
Madam Kwan was 1999 in August as well.
Okay, and that was Madam Kwan. And how were you and your husband involved in the business then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So the birth of this brand actually happens in our kitchen. Then she was having this little store in One Utama that she was struggling, and it's not the same, right? And one day in the kitchen, she broke down and she say in tears, she was living with us, and I barely see her in that state, even though she lost her business. And so she said, I just don't understand one thing, she said. I had sacrificed my whole life for this menu, this restaurant, this kitchen. I just do not know why it has to be taken away from me.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. When I say that she had sacrificed her whole life, it truly means that, that her son, my husband, Rudy, was a national tennis player, junior Wimbledon, and she never once watched a match that he played. She didn't even go for his graduation. She was there in her kitchen. She doesn't even know where the cutleries are kept at home. And to be taken away from her was very hard on her. It's not about the business. It's not about the making the money. It's about, I want my kitchen back. So that's how we gather a bit of what we have. And then we started the 65 Jalan Telawi and name it after her.
Right. Okay. So starting that restaurant, now getting involved, right, with how your mom ran it. What were some of the challenges when you first started out? Because both, I guess, you and Datuk are not in the F&B business.
Yeah. In the beginning, when we opened 65 Jalan Telawi, it was just a 2-story shop. The goodwill came back. So it was just nice, We had a little kitchen, central kitchen. Our business is always run on central kitchen, and we had a little central kitchen to support it. So it was quite a nice space. And in August 2000, we opened up to Suria KLCC lot 420-421. It's been 25 years in the same location now. Then the crowd came, and then there was a lot of firefighting. There was a lot of daily, solving all the problem, low-hanging fruits, and we're just solving all that kind of thing. But throughout the whole entire journey of this brand, or the lifeline of this brand, I would say that the one thing that we wake up and constantly am tweeting is the quality of the food. Right. We may not always get it right, but we wake up and we try to fix it every single day.
Okay, so that's so now everything seems to happen in the 7. So but 25 years is something to talk about. No, when you talk about the challenges then, what are some of the challenges now?
The challenges then and the challenges now are a bit different. The difference is right now the company is bigger. Then when you have 1 or 2 stores, it's quite relatively easy to manage, and you get to do what you enjoy most. For me personally, going down to the ground and see the customer is what I enjoy the most. Now it's getting harder because the ship is bigger, and to maintain the quality cut for 2 shops and to maintain the quality cut for 16 or 18 shops is 2 entirely different story. Right. It requires you to look into the back of the house, invest where you need to, stabilize a certain thing, maybe convert a certain cooking process into a different kind of process, or your inventory into a food bank system and that sort of thing. So every day, it's different because you, from maybe those days, you have 80 staff to now close to 600. So a lot of managing the downline and to make sure that everything that is supposed to happens at the right time.
And managing costs, right? Because things have gone up as well. How do you balance that? Because I think that's one of the biggest challenge where clients also come in and they expect a certain thing. How do you manage expectations, customers' expectations?
So I think in the market, if people would think that we are a bit pricey, even though actually we run relatively high on our food costs. We have always been a believer of quality. Ingredients are normally done in a certain way. I mean, we have our selection and we keep them. we tend to buy the more expensive ingredient, and we keep them for years.
Right.
A certain species of onion, a certain cooking oil. We still, for us, even for deep frying items and all that, we still buy like Red Eagle. A lot of people don't do that, and so the cost is definitely on the rise. I think it has stabilized for now for
Right.
2024. At the midst of the pandemic, it was really quite exacerbating.
Okay.
So what we do is, I think in the office, I often say this: cost transfer has to be done responsibly.
Right.
If the item is momentarily a price has gone up, then we will hold the price.
Okay.
But if it's after a certain time, we do a certain level of transfer as well. But we try our very best to hold the price, because sometimes it's just a seasonal thing. As we speak right now, coconut is on the rise because there is a huge shortage at the moment. So coconut milk is truly on the rise.
Wow.
Some of the big, like pasteurized coconut supplier that makes it into the Tetra Pak also does not have any stock at all, because they rather not sell, because the price of raw material is too high.
Madam Kwan is synonymous with authentic Malaysian flavors, right? How do you keep that strong brand identity alive in an ever-changing food scene? And then you've got all your marketing that needs to be done and all that. How do you keep it at top of mind for your customers?
I think for a good of 15 years, we were a brand without any marketing, word of mouth, very traditional way. But as you go more outlet, you can't do that. So we are, I think the mantra that we use is like, let the food speak for itself. So the things that we sell, we actually have quite a lot to offer.
Right.
Quite a lot to offer. Our interpretation of Malaysian food is a bit of everything that everyone eats. So, example, like if a family of 4 comes and mom wants to eat char kway teow, dad wants to eat nasi lemak, and the kids wants to eat spaghetti, and another person wants to eat chicken popcorn, they probably have to come.
Right.
So how do we keep the branding? It's we are truly Malaysian cuisine. We place ourselves in places that that are popular to tourists as well, and we keep our brand promise, and the rest of it we let the food do the talking.
Okay, so I'm sure there's some kind of marketing that needs to happen, although there's word of mouth. But of course, you have to go on the usual platforms for some marketing as well.
Yeah,
right?
marketing wise, we are in the usual platform. We are in the Instagram, TikTok, Xiaohongshu, and also the usual Facebook and marketing campaign. We have. After about more than 2 decades, people tend to think that we have same old items. So every year we have like every quarter we will come out with some new things for people to try.
Okay.
Yeah. So
that was my question. That was going to be my next question. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and then for that, if the things are very popular, we tend to keep them in the menu.
Okay. So, but there's some standards that won't go away, right? Your top 3 is still your nasi lemak, your char kway teow, and what was the other one again? Your top 3?
Nasi bujari. Yeah.
Okay.
So actually, in any F&B is the 80-20. 30 items is the top 30 items is normally the total, the 80% of your sales.
Right. Okay. Now, one of the things also is that expanding a brand, right? Madam Kwan, you've got 18 outlets right now, right? What's your strategy to grow the legacy without losing its heritage or quality? Because it's, like you say, 2 outlets and 18 outlets is 2 different stories.
I often tell myself, don't get caught in the rat race.
Okay.
I often tell myself, look for meaningful expansion. What is a meaningful expansion will be places that will make a difference to the brand, such as there are places that we are not there yet, And we always work this whole year 24. We work on expanding outside Kuala Lumpur.
Right.
With the technology that we invested, we expanded to the north. We had our first northern store at Queens Bay Mall, working on the second store there. So I think bringing the brand to a different location, able to do that, having to say that the complexity of the food, it's a meaningful project to me.
Right.
Yeah. So we continue to work on those.
Okay.
We continue. So it's not the numbers I'm chasing.
Right.
It is more places that can make a difference to the brand and also to the customer, bringing it nearer to a certain customer that otherwise have to travel here.
Right. And I'm just thinking about meaningful. What's your definition of meaningful? And then bringing this into Penang. You know, Penang have the greatest food critics, right?
I lost sleep, actually. I couldn't sleep for 2 weeks.
Okay.
I'm from Penang.
Right.
So I was thinking, this is crazy. This is a crazy project.
Okay.
But after a while, as it gets closer, now that we're open for about 2.5 months, Penang has changed.
Okay. Not so critical anymore.
Yeah, Penang has changed.
Okay, all right.
There's the room for us.
Okay. Does Madam Kwan herself still keep an eye on the kitchen these days? I know she's 91, but does she still monitor the situation?
Up to 80 plus, she was still wiping tables, you know. Then after the pandemic, we didn't allow her to go out. Now her role, she likes to listen to the story of what's going on in the company, which every now and then I would tell her. And then she will always, we live in the middle of town, between the TRX store or the Pavilion store. So she is more of a mystery shopper right now. She will order and then she'll wait for us to come back and say, hey, this thing is a bit sour, huh? This thing is a bit salty, yeah?
Okay. All right. Okay. So she watch it when someone does an order. Just be mindful; it could be from her directly. Have you thought of taking the brand globally?
It's always been has always been the
dream.
The dream, yeah. They call the big, hairy, audacious goal.
Yeah.
The BHAC.
So no plans at the moment.
We are to bring it outside Malaysia is possible now with all the technology and all of that. Yeah, constantly looking for opportunity.
Okay, and again, it's got to be meaningful.
It will be very meaningful. Putting Malaysian food on the world map.
Right. Have you ever considered venturing into other kinds of F&B outlets under the Madam Kwan's umbrella? Perhaps a casual spin-off or a dessert cafe or something.
We did a small spin-off last year. We narrowed down the size of the business, and we actually have a slightly different, a few new introduction of new items. So the brand is actually called Madam Kwan Selected Item.
Okay.
The template is a lot smaller. It's very much in my mind.
Okay.
Yeah, that sometimes I think about when I have an old house somewhere in Nimbi, and I feel like maybe you can do a kopitiam or something, that kind of thing.
Okay.
But I think at this juncture with so much workload, I have to stay focused.
Right. Is Madam Kwan Select an outlet or it's
an outlet?
It's an outlet. Okay.
It's at the Genting Premier Outlet.
Okay. So that is right. So that's
he has got the mee siam that we otherwise don't have, fishbowl noodle, and a few other things. And it's only 70 seats and very small. So that you will see more of that coming out.
Okay. So so that people, the standards are there, right? The top 3 items have to be there, right?
Yes.
I know you just talked about Madam Kwan's story, right? And it's been an incredible journey, right? And for you, I guess, what has been the most rewarding for you along the way, coming in, helping the mom-in-law?
For me, I think, for the longest time, I asked myself, sometimes I do ask myself, what's my purpose of life?
Okay.
I do. But I just can tell you this. I've been doing this for more than 2 decades. I wake up, I put on I put on my best outfit and I go out because I'm actually looking forward to go to work.
Right.
So for the occasionally I do get burnout. I do get sick. When I'm sick, I'm lying on my bed and I'm waiting like, when am I going to get better? I want to go back to work.
Okay.
So I think to a certain extent, Frida, I could say that I found what I meant to do.
Right. And before this, Evan, what were you doing? What was it?
I was actually 5 years. I was the Singapore girl
Oh, I see.
in that blue kabaya.
I see. That's your history. So, okay, hospitality is in the blood. Now, when you're not immersed in the culinary world, how do you unwind or find fresh inspiration or any hobbies and stuff like that?
I have a routine.
Mm.
So when I wake up, I journal.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a gratitude journal where I pay gratitude to life.
Okay.
Every day I wake up, I try to find what I'm grateful for.
Right.
So I write them down. I like fountain pen, so I write them down. I like a nice journal, so I use this Japanese journal. So I also do my fair share of manifestation.
Okay.
Yeah. And my gratitude for life. So I do this on a long-term basis.
Right.
Yeah. So that's what keeps me
Grounded.
not really grounded. Keeps me to the site that I want my mind to be at.
Okay.
Yeah. It keeps you in that certain zone that you want to be. And also I run. So I don't run. I run almost every day, but I don't run for far. For me, it's a range of 5 to 6 kilometers, slow jog. And other than that, friends. I have a few close friends. I think that we come a long way. Travel, of course, but it's getting a bit tiring to travel these days.
Really? Already? Okay.
No, sometimes as you know, if you travel with friends, are very you
Yes.
know, it's very relaxing and nice. If you travel with your family, you come back, you need another holiday.
Are your children going to take over the business?
It's not the plan.
That's not the plan.
It's not the plan. I
Right.
believe that the world is not short of talent.
Right.
Yeah, there's always a person out there that can run this show. It does not necessarily have to be her.
Okay, so it's interesting what you said about gratitude and journaling and manifestation, and I have to say I needed to hear that today. So very good, right? Are there any things any other stories you'd like to share about this whole journey, whether it's Madam Kwan or anything you'd like to bring up that I haven't asked? Because I'm sure that if I go on, there's a lot more stories that we can unearth. But is there something that you want to share?
I think to me, when I reflect back at the 25 years, to be a brand, a F&B brand that started in 1999 and to be applicable to today is something that it's very warm in my heart. I feel that the little story that contribute to this whole thing, and at this point of time, we are still applicable,
Right.
small but healthy, is something that I truly pay gratitude for.
Right. And
It's by itself, it's a very powerful story in my heart, the one that energizes me.
Right. And it just goes to show, right? I mean, whatever's been happening for the last 25 years, right? When it's a good brand, it lasts, right? I mean, we talk about social media and all these promotions, but I guess when it's a good brand, it will stand the test of time.
I often tell the landlord I'm not a sprinter, I'm a long distance runner.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much,
Thank
Datin.
you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
It's been such a pleasure.
Thank you.
Of course, you've been watching Life Confessions here, Season 3. I'm Frida Liu.